Hi everyone, this is CA Mukesh and welcome to Kaushik's Pathshala. So this session is regarding the amendments that are applicable for the CA Final December 2021 examinations with regard to the company law paper. So there will be totally 3 lectures that has to come. Lecture number 1 will be on amendments to the company law. Lecture number 2 amendments to FCRA. Lecture number 3 amendments to insolvency code. So 3 great amendments have come for the attempt December 2021. So it will be released in 3 different videos. This one will be covering all amendments regarding Companies Act. Next one will be on amendments to FCRA, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, and third one will be the main amendment area for the attempt being insolvency bankruptcy code added through pre-packaged insolvency resolution process. So 100% work was done, so material is also ready. The video regarding the company law, below the lecture in this particular description box you will be finding the link. You can download the amendments. I have made comparison between prior to the amendment what is the position of law and after the amendment what the law has changed, okay. But I didn't give any reasoning why they changed. Reasoning we will deliver in the lecture. I have just given you the content prior to the amendment, content post amendment, but what is the reasoning behind that amendment we are going to discuss in the today's lecture here, okay. So there are 2 parts of amendments for Companies Act this time. There are around 15 to 18 amendments are there total. I didn't count exactly. 13. Oh, 20 amendments are there totally. There are totally 20 amendments are there for the Companies Act. In that, expected area will be Schedule 5. Schedule 5 and Section 197 has underwent a tremendous amendment. Amendment is easy to understand, basic is same, foundation is same, only the superstructure has changed this time. So what is that? When we come into the discussion we will be having it, but before going into this, there are 2 amendments parts in Companies Act. I divide the amendments for the coming attempt into 2 parts with regard to Companies Act. One, penal provisional amendments, that means amendments to the punishment sections, and the next kind of amendment is content related amendment. Penal provisions are not amended there, content itself has changed. So there are 2 kinds of amendments which we need to discuss upon, okay. Number 1 will be the penal amendments, okay. Penalties, those things are changed. What is that? Let us try to understand very clearly in detail, okay. So see here, amendments to Companies Act 2013 as applicable for December 2021 CA final examinations. There are 2 parts in our amendments. Number 1, the penal amendments. Number 2, content related amendments. 2 kinds of amendments are there. So there are 2 kinds of amendments. One is a penal amendments, second one is a content amendments. So let me first explain the penal amendments clearly. First thing, penal amendment, the penalties and punishment provisions have totally changed, okay. So we can understand in one way. I will explain you the background first. After understanding the background, then you can really appreciate why government would have come with this amendment, okay. So before going into this, let me first read one provision. What change has made, you will understand. If a person accepts an appointment, this is on number of directorships. Number of directorships. Actually, what is the provision? Number of directorships, a person shall not hold more than 20 directorships at the same time. In that, public companies cannot exceed 10. So this is a provision. On that there is a amendment. What amendment? Provision didn't undergo amendment. Penalty has undergone amendment. If a person, therefore, in examination how question can come this time? He may ask a question on 165 for 4 marks. 3 marks will be for the content, 1 mark he will put the revised amendment there. So if you don't prepare these, 1 mark gone. Like that, if 3-4 questions come, 4 marks gone. So just we have to spend 30-35 minutes to remember this. It gives you good marks in exam. Okay. So let's try to understand clearly. If a person accepts an appointment as a director in contravention of subsection 1, 20 and 10, he shall be liable to a penalty of 5,000 for each day after the first during which the contravention continues. This is a provision prior to the amendment. Content post amendment. If a person accepts an appointment as a director in violation of this section, he shall be liable to a penalty of rupees 2,000 for each day after the first to the maximum of rupees 2 lakhs. So what is the amendment that has come? Previously, holding a directorship in excess has unlimited liability, unlimited payment of penalty used to be there once upon a time. They reduced that. Reduced what? 5,000 for each day has reduced to 2,000 for each day. Previously, you go on continuing the holding the directorship like that. What would have happened? 5,000, 5,000 like that, it multiplies like anything, it crosses some lakhs. But now, that concept is not there. 2,000 per day, maximum of 2 lakhs. Means what? Technically, even if you want to levy a penalty of 2,000, 100 days is possible now. Okay, how many days? 100 days is possible. Sir, why this amendment would have come? So now we understood that previously it is 5,000 for each day, which is now going to change, or which has already changed to 2,000 for each day, subjected to a maximum of rupees 2 lakhs. What does it actually infer to say? Why this was reduced is because of one good reason. This 5,000 for each day is a content prior amendment. At that time, number of directorships maximum is 20. Public companies are 10. If you go beyond the particular limit, you will be liable to a penalty. Therefore, they said 5,000 for each day. If you are for 200 days, 5,000 into 200. Chalo, pay the penalty, 10 lakhs. Like that they use it to infer. But 2019 amendment came. Which amendment? They said that if you accept directorships beyond a certain limit, that result in a disqualification. Means what? You can't even accept it. Okay. Now let us understand the scenario. 164 section says that a person cannot become a director of a company if he contravene 165. Means what? If you are already director in 20 companies, this 21st company cannot be added to your list in MCA website. It will not get updated. In MCA website, updation will not be made. You are director only for the company's sake. In the master records of the MCA, your name will not be added to the company because you are already holding 20 directorships. It resulted in a disqualification. Even if you accept and submit, immediately it is vacated because as per section 167, whenever you get attracted by disqualification, it leads to an automatic vacation. Means what? You accept today only vacation also happened. That means you are not continuing as a director. Then why I have to levy a penalty of 5,000 each day? He could not take any decision. He can't sign on any document. He can't do anything in company. Just he is presuming that he is a director, but he is not. He is already disqualified. He is already vacating the office. Then where is the question of taking decisions in company? Therefore, they said that when he is not taking any decision in the company, why torture of 5,000 for each day? Reduce that to the maximum of 2 lakh, but subjected to maximum of 2,000 rupees for each day. Am I clear, everyone? So try to understand clearly. Penalty is 2,000 fixed amount. Each day it will be penalized, and 2,000 for each day after the first during which the violation continues, subjected to maximum of 2 lakhs. Don't go beyond that because he is not doing any big crime in this world. So no problem, leave him. By mistake, he might have accepted it. Anyway, in the master data, his name will not get updated because he is already a director in 20 companies. Company, if it files a DAR 12, it will be rejected by the department. Point number 1. Next issue. If a person, next one, 167, this is on vacation. Not 166, 165 related vacation, normal vacation section. If a person functions as a simple point is, your office got vacated. Even after your office getting vacated, if you still continue, previously what is the situation? Imprisonment for 1 year, okay, or fine 1 lakh, maximum 5 lakh, or sometimes even with both. That was deleted now. That was deleted. Now what is the only thing? Only fine is levied. Again they reduced. Just because of the reason that he is not vacating the office. Okay. Then don't imprison him with 1 year. Decriminalization, this concept will be called. What concept? Decriminalization. That means the punishment volume has reduced now. Let not punish with imprisonment, sir, for the small things. He has vacated his office, automatic vacation, but he didn't. He still continued. What great will happen? Anyway, in the MCA records, his office is vacated. Anyway, he could not take any direct decisions officially through paper. Okay, then why you are punishing him with imprisonment? Many reasons are there. For example, today court has ordered that I am insolvent, but that notice came to me after 10 days. Court order of insolvency makes my office vacant, but still I continued for 10 days because I didn't receive notice from the court. Just because of that reason you will put me in the imprisonment for 1 year. Overaction. Therefore, they thought that many situations can come in a practical scenario where the person might not know that office has been vacated. Therefore, they said that let's reduce that. Not even reduction, it will be totally abandoning the imprisonment decision taken by the 167. So only fine will be there, minimum 1, maximum 5 lakh. Everyone understood the concept clearly? In this connection, I have to tell another point that I will interconnect at the next path. Next, 172. 172 is the penalty hub for chapter 11. What is chapter 11? Qualifications and appointment of directors, or appointment and qualifications of directors chapter is there na? Directors concept we call generally. That chapter is chapter number 11. Chapter number 11 la, wherever you do something wrong and that section don't provide for any kind of punishment or a penalty, this will be the applicability. Okay, what is that? Let us read the prior amendment provision. If a company contravenes the provisions of this section of this chapter, which chapter? Chapter 11, and for which no specific punishment is provided therein, the company and every officer of the company who is in default shall be punishable with a fine which shall not be less than 50,000 but which may extend to 5 lakh. So previously there are two things. Okay, punishment will be levied to him in the form of a fine. Minimum 50,000, maximum will be 5 lakh. Anyway, imprisonment is not there even prior amendment. Then what amendment he want to bring now? Read. Reduction again. If a company is in default in complying with any of the provisions of this chapter and for which no specific penalty or a punishment is provided therein, the company and every officer who is in default shall be liable to a penalty of 50,000. If we continue that, further penalty 500 for every day, maximum is 3 lakh. In case of a company, rupees 1 lakh in case of officer in case of a company, and in case of officer in default, it will be 1 lakh. Sir, what is this going on? Let's try to understand this very clearly in detail. Let me explain you the modus operandi. That means what is the idea behind this amendment? Everyone has to understand this very, very keenly. So let me explain on this. See here. First observation is, previously, prior to the amendment, post amendment, prior to the amendment, I repeat, prior to the amendment, it was clearly said that, I repeat, prior to the amendment, it was clearly said that whoever violates shall be punishable. Okay, now also punishable. Shall be punishable when he will be punishable? If he commits a violation or a contravention. Okay. And that contravention, for that contravention, no specific punishment is provided. No specific punishment is provided. I repeat, prior to the amendment, that section 172 will get attracted when there is a contravention that is being committed by the company. That contravention don't contain any specific punishment in that section. Sir, can you give an example? These many examples I can give. Example number 1, additional director, alternate director, casual vacancy director, nominee director, women director, Indian resident director, all these concepts, independent director, section number 160, section number 152, subsection number 6. If you observe all these sections, section is only there, punishment will not be there. Example, shall I tell you? Total number of directors of a public company will be divided into two categories, rotational directors and non-rotational directors. Rotational directors are those directors whose office shall be liable to retire by rotation. Non-rotational directors are remaining directors. So totally, the 2/3 or not less than 2/3 of the total number of directors shall be rotational directors. In that, maximum 1/3 shall be non-rotational directors. In that 2/3, 1/3 of the directors shall actually retire at every AGM. Like this, he has given lot of provision in section 152 6 subsection number B, or 152 subsection 6 clause number C and D and E. If I don't comply with that, what you will do? Total number of directors in my company are 15. Okay, no additional directors, nothing. All are normal 160 directors. Now what is the scenario? I have to okay, appoint such number of directors as to meet the requirement of 152 6. Rotational must be 10, non-rotational is only 5. But I have a wrong composition of 9 and 6. What you will do? Not said in the section. This section will get attracted. Additional director, if you take, what additional director section will tell? The articles of the company may confer on the board of directors the power to appoint any person other than a person who fails to get appointed in the company in a general meeting as an additional director, who shall hold the office up to the next annual general meeting or the last date on which the AGM should have been held, whichever is earlier. Okay. So like this, he said a provision. I didn't follow that. What you will do? I didn't follow that. So I am appointing an additional director in a general meeting rather than a board meeting. Articles is silent, but board appointed additional director. What you will do? No punishment. Nothing said in the section actually. Like this, various scenarios are there where no specific punishment was provided in the section. Then what you are going to do? This section will get attracted. This is section number 170. So post amendment, what has done? Let's try to understand now. Okay. Post amendment, they use the language like this. But before understanding this, let me give you one point. Previously, prior to 172 amendment, what they have said, if a section does not contain a punishment anywhere, then this particular section will get applied, 172. There is a difference between punishment and penalty. Every student must understand this difference in order to appreciate the amendments that are made. Okay, don't be always exam oriented. Yes, exam orientation is very important, I do know that, but still without having any clarity on what amendment want to tell, if you read that, it doesn't make any sense. So therefore please concentrate. So there are two terms, punishment and penalty. Punishment will be given for criminal offences. Penalties for civil contraventions. Criminal punishments will be levied by, sir, crime does not mean murders, etc. Don't go to that. Crime means an intention in mind to defract the law is a crime. Okay. So, punishment of a criminal nature, and it will be levied by the special courts, under chapter number 28. Under chapter number 28. 28th chapter will be levying the criminal punishments. Okay. Sir, criminal punishment means what will be there? Fine, imprisonments. These two are called as punishments. Then penalty. Penalty is a civil contravention. Civil contraventions under Companies Act are considered under section 454, adjudication of penalties. Adjudication of penalties. I repeat, prior to the amendment, the words are shall be punishable. Now the word does change to shall be liable to a penalty. Whenever you find the term shall be punishable, special court will take care. Whenever a section uses the word shall be liable to a penalty, this will be going to 454 adjudication of penalty. This will come under chapter number 29. Who will adjudicate the penalty? ROC or appeals to the RD. But special courts, there will be a magistrate or chief metropolitan magistrate or judicial magistrate of first class or a single judge, these people will take care. Punishments will be called as a trial. Penalties will be called as adjudication. So don't merge both of them and make it a pulihara. Both are different. Shall be liable to a penalty, take any act, not just companies. Take SEBI, take SCRA, anyway not in the syllabus, take SEBI, take any act. If you find the term shall be liable to a penalty, FEMA shall be liable to a penalty. Whenever I use the word shall be liable to a penalty, penalty will be levied. Penalty will be levied by whom? By a penalizing authority who will be called as adjudicating authority. Take PMLA. PMLA, both cases will be there. Punishments are there, penalties are there. If the banking entity or an intermediary or reporting entity does not maintain the records, has to be maintained under section number 13. Okay, the director will levy a penalty. Shall be liable to a penalty. It's not a punishment. Punishment always have fines and imprisonments, which will be given by the special courts. Okay, this differentiation everyone has to understand in this connection of the amendment. Okay, so what government has done this time? Let me explain. Now, decriminalization means what? Criminal intent sections are taken as civil intent sections now. Previously, what is a crime? Today that is not a crime. That is only a civil contravention. Okay. There is a good differentiation between civil and criminal. Normal classes I can explain all these things, but I can't waste so much time, but I will explain to some extent. Always offenses will carry punishment. Okay, punishment. If you observe here, shall be liable to a penalty. Liable to a penalty. Here, shall be punishable. Shall be punishable. I think everyone now understood the difference. This shall be punishable has now shifted to shall be liable to a penalty. 435 section purview now shifted to 454 and 454A, read with the rules. Okay, therefore how the questions can come in the very next attempt? 454 section law already in the latest attempt amendment was made, not in this attempt, the previous attempt amendment was made. Adjudication of penalty. Examiner will not ask you write about amendment on section 172. We are not writing BCom exams. Okay, he will not ask like that. What he will do? Adjudication of penalty section number 454 la, he will give the new amended provisions into that. If I were the paper preparer, definitely I try to mess with the students by giving question like this. 454 section linked with 172 amendment, because once upon a time it shall be punishable, now it has become liable to penalty. Special court purview shifted to adjudication, judge purview shifted to adjudicating authority being ROC. Means what you can understand here, he may merge 454 section along with 172, along with 167, along with 165, like that he can merge and ask the question. Clear everyone? So this is the idea behind the amendment. Once upon a time it is a criminal, now shifted to civil. One very important observation beyond this. The observation is previously, okay, prior to this, see here, next important point of amendment in this section is, previously what they used to tell, if a company contravenes any provision of this chapter for which no specific punishment is provided, means what? There is a section in chapter 11 which is violated, that violation don't have any punishment. From that what is implied? First, this violation should be of a criminal violation, because he said no punishment is provided elsewhere. When punishments will be given? For crimes, okay, for corporate crimes, then only punishment. That means first the section for which punishment is not provided must be there. Means what? First there should be some criminal intent resulting in punishment. For example, there is a section in chapter 11 which is violated, but it is of a civil violation only, not so crime, then where to go? 172 does not apply previously for this, because as per 172, if a company contravenes any provision and for which no punishment is provided, that means first the section should be of a punishable nature section for which no punishment is provided. Okay, that means first it is a criminal intent section, but that criminal intent section don't carry punishment. But my section is a civil intent section for which no penalty is provided. Then what to do? Then we use it to go to section 450 previously. 450 section will be talking about punishment or penalty where no specific penalty or punishment is provided elsewhere in the act. 450 section used to apply. Now this was also taken. How beautifully they changed the amendment. See here. If a company is in default in complying with any provisions of this chapter for which no specific penalty or punishment is provided elsewhere in the act, then these amounts will be applicable. How beautifully they made the amendment. So, if you really understand the intent of the amendment, you will appreciate, or else mark up the concept, read and go. Okay? But if you understand like this, you will never forget that. I give a guarantee. Never you will forget it again. So, forgetting will not come. Okay? Yeah. Next. Yes. Next one. Section number 178. From here, nothing to discuss. You have to remember the penalties. Okay? That I can't do. I can tell only the purpose of the amendment and what amendment has made. Okay? Remaining you have to read and remember. Prior to the amendment, it is a punishable section with a fine. Now that was changed to liable to a penalty. Criminal converted to civil. Decriminalization happened. Next. Same. 184. 184. What 184 section says? Disclosure of interest. Disclosure of interest. Okay. If you remember the concept very clearly, disclosure of interest. There are two types of disclosure. Subsection 1 and subsection 2. Subsection 1 talks about a general disclosure. Subsection 1 talks of a general disclosure. Every director of a company, okay, every director of a company, he has to disclose his three types of disclosure. The first disclosure, renewal, modified. Okay, that means every director of a company at the first meeting of the board in which he participates as a director, okay, in which he participates as a director, and in every financial year, the first meeting, and whenever there is a change in the disclosures already made, shall disclose his concern or interest in the company, companies or body, corporate firms or other association of individuals in such manner as may be prescribed. MBP 1. Subsection number 2 will be specific disclosure. When you enter into contract, you need to disclose. Every director of a company who is in any way whether directly or indirectly concerned or interested in a contract or arrangement, proposed contract or arrangement entered into or to be entered into with a body corporate in which such a director is a chief executive officer or a manager or a promoter, or he along with all the other directors hold more than 2% of the total paid up share capital of the company, or he is a member or a owner of any other entity. Such a director has to disclose his nature of concern or interest at the meeting of the board in which such matter is discussed and shall not participate in such meeting. Even after that, if you participate, subsection 2 contravention. If you don't give properly MBP 1 disclosure, subsection 1 contravention. Previously, it is a imprisonment punishment. Now that was shifted to penalizing. Again, ROC will take care. Okay, all these are decriminalization. Next, 187. 187 talks of maintenance of register. MBP 3 register has to be maintained. MBP 3 register, if the company's investments are not held in the own name, company put the money, but that is held in others' name. For what reasons? We have to read 187 section. I am not going to explain that now. If that not be the case, if you are not doing the filing properly, if you are not maintaining the register properly, then what will happen? Imprisonment. For not maintaining register, imprisonment. Now that was changed to liable to a penalty, liable to a penalty. Next. Same even with related party transaction. Related party transaction, if you enter into contravention, previously punishable with imprisonment, liable to penalty. So again, criminal change it to civil case. 204, company secretary. If 204 talks of a secretarial audit by a bigger companies, okay, if the secretarial audit is not properly conducted or any contravention is happening in that, again criminal case, punishable with a fine. Now it was shifted to liable to a penalty, decriminalization again. 232, same, previously it happens to be a punishable with a fine, imprisonment is also there, but now that was shifted to liable to a penalty. Here also decriminalization. Okay. So if company contravenes, next 242 oppression mismanagement, orders of tribunal, if you don't properly follow, previously punishable, imprisonment, fine used to be there once upon a time, now that was shifted to this will be important because criminal is criminal again, it's not a civil. But what has changed, let us observe. See here, 242 section will be talking about oppression and mismanagement. Tribunal will pass orders. First section number 241 la, member will make a complaint to the tribunal that the activities or affairs of the company has been or are being conducted in a manner prejudicial to the interests of the company or members or any other member or members or interests of the company or interests of the public. Then the tribunal will take an action if it really justifies winding up. In section number 242 subsection number 1, clause number A and clause number B. After that, really if the circumstances, really the prejudicial activities are carrying on in the company, the tribunal will pass an order taking some actions against the wrongdoers in the company. In such case, what is the situation? Tribunal will pass an order. What order? Regulation of management of the affairs of the company. Okay. Next after that, purchase of the shares of the person who is committing oppression, removal of directors, appointing new persons, like the tribunal will pass an order. If the order of tribunal is not properly followed, previously punishable with a fine, minimum 1 lakh, maximum 25 lakh for company. Then what about the officer of the company who is in default? Imprisonment 6 months or fine, minimum 25, maximum 1 lakh or with both. Now what has done? Simply what they have done now is this imprisonment was taken out. If a fine or imprisonment is there, fine or imprisonment or both will come. Therefore, this with both has been removed here because imprisonment anyway not there, only fine is there. So now it is only punishable with fine. Reduction in criminal liability. That's all. 243. Same sir. Same thing happened again. So even in this case, punishable with fine and imprisonment used to be there or both will come. Now that was made only as a punishable with fine. Punishable with what's a fine. Next, registered valuer. Previously it's a crime, now it was a civil case. Okay, if registered valuers are observing the crime, then gone, therefore they reduced it. 392, foreign company concept. 392, if any foreign company contravenes the provisions of this chapter, what will be the scenario once upon a time? So now what is the scenario? What has happened? What's so great? What is the difference that has been made? So let's try to understand clearly. See here, 392 section, foreign company. Sir, here both sides same thing was printed by mistake. This is the new one. This is also new one. Old one by mistake it was not printed here. So anyway new one is there in both the sides. Main thing you need to observe is once upon a time here imprisonment of 6 months used to be there. Now that was deleted. Only fine and additional fine is there. Simply like previous one, punishment having imprisonment and fine. Now it was changed to imprisonment or fine. Now only fine is there. Imprisonment was removed. By mistake this was only printed even here. So take it that this is also an amended provision. This is also amended provision. Okay. Both are amended provisions only. These two are same. By mistake old provision was not printed here. But in old provision what is there I will explain you. Imprisonment of 6 months used to be there. Now that was deleted. Okay. Next. 450. Just now I said. Punishment where no specific punishment or penalty is provided elsewhere. Once upon a time, if that be the case, what used to be the scenario? Shall be punishable used to be there. Now that was changed to shall be liable to a penalty. Everything remains same. Remaining thing is same. Main thing once upon a time it is having a criminal liability. Now it was changed to civil. So these are all the types of amendments that came on a penal background. Okay. Content related amendments are also there. What is that content related? Let us try to understand. First thing, there is a chapter called as company incorporated outside India. We generally call it foreign company, but the name of the chapter is company incorporated outside India. Once upon a time, what they said is, in section number 379, okay, in section number 379, they said that, I repeat, in section number 379, they said that if central government really want, it can exempt any foreign company from the provisions of this chapter. Generally, foreign companies will be applied with section number 379 to 393. For any specific foreign company, if government want to give, it can specify in an order saying that for this foreign company, these provisions does not apply. It can give an exemption. Okay. So, previously, prior to the amendment, what is the scenario? Only foreign companies can get the exemption. Foreign companies are different from company incorporated outside India. Company incorporated outside India versus company incorporated outside India having a place of business in India. Both are different. Company incorporated outside India and having a place of business in India makes a foreign company. Company incorporated outside India without a place of business, only company incorporated outside India. Name of the chapter is company incorporated outside India. But for the funniest sake, only foreign companies can be exempted, but not companies incorporated outside India. Am I clear, everyone? Therefore, now what the government has said, government can provide exemption not only to foreign companies, but also to companies incorporated outside India who want to issue prospectus in India. We can exempt certain times to those companies as well. Why this amendment has come? Listen. International agencies are floating companies. IMF is there, International Monetary Fund. It is floating companies. UNESCO is having subsidiary companies. These companies, when they want to start an establishment in India, government cannot ask, you have to comply with Companies Act, etc. It's an insult for the government to ask like that for the international agency, their promoted companies to get the applicability of Companies Act in India. Therefore, as a honor and other respect towards those, they said that government has a authority to exempt. Okay. So, government can give exemptions only to foreign companies. Then government can't give exemptions to companies incorporated outside India not having a place of business. Therefore, they thought that we have to bring an amendment. Central government not only have a power to exempt foreign companies, but also companies incorporated outside India not being foreign companies, but want to issue prospectus, etc. in India. For them also we can provide exemptions. Where you will provide that exemption? That exemption can be added to 397. 397 section you can't add that amendment because 379 section you can't add that amendment because 379 section is talking of applicability of act to foreign companies only, not for companies incorporated outside India. Then where to provide? They deleted entire section. They added a new section 393A. Actually, this chapter will end with start from 379 and end with 393. They added another section 393A. What you are seeing here, same thing was added with small addition. Central government may exempt any class of foreign companies and also companies incorporated outside India, whether it has or it has not established a place of business in India. That's the amendment. Okay. Next issue. Establishment of special court. Okay, establishment of special court. So this is a content prior amendment, this is content post amendment. So what it is talking about, let us understand. Central government, okay, will establish or designate special courts. Occasion came na, I will explain one important concept in this connection. You can understand that much better than this. See here. Observation. Everyone please, eyes on the screen. So, special court is of two types. Established special court, designated special courts. Established special court, designated special courts. Established special court means separately for Companies Act they will establish a special court which takes only company cases, Companies Act related cases. That's why we call special court. But really it is there in India na. Today in Companies Act there are lot many special courts. None of them are established. It's not that easy to establish a special court, sir. Impossible. Almost it is nearing impossibility now. All are designated special courts only. Means what? Existing sessions court or a district magistrate courts will be designated as a special court. Sir, I didn't understand, sir, what it is. I will explain. For example, already there is a sessions court in Hyderabad. Let's take Nampally court. It will take many cases. Okay, it will not only take only company cases, it takes many cases. Various crimes it will conduct a trial. Along with that, on a particular day, during a particular time, that particular day and particular time we call as a session. During that session, they will take company related cases. Like this it used to be. That means there is no separated dedicated special courts for companies offences. Existing criminal courts only during a particular session time, they will take company law cases and conduct a trial and prosecution, whatever you call. From this, what you need to understand here, the point you need to understand here is special courts are scarce. I repeat, special courts are scarce. They are scarce like chartered accountants. Okay, they are scarce like chartered accountants. Industry needs special court, industry needs chartered accountants, but they don't have special courts. We don't have enough number of chartered accountants. Both are having a same kind of situation. Now let us try to understand. Due to this scarcity, when I compare Companies Act offences and bomb blast case, which will be given more priority in the court? Automatically the second one. Company case, one big money laundering case, obviously money laundering. Company law case and drug case, narcotic drug case. That means scarcity is one point and the priority of the case is another point. When it comes to Satyam company case and normal company case, I will give criteria to the Satyam case. Scarcity is one problem, priority of case is another problem in the special court. Okay, adjournments on adjournment, going on doing like that. When my offense will be taken for granted? Now tell me, a director has done offense for which fine will be is the punishment. That means sessions court has to tell how much fine I have to pay. Stopping all important works, I will tell how much fine you have to pay. Therefore, they said decriminalization. Throw it onto the overhead of the ROC. That's why all the crimes are now shifted to civil. Scarcity is there here. A small imprisonment, 1 year imprisonment to 6 months imprisonment cases you are bringing to sessions court. Do you think we are free? Do you think magistrates are so free? Do you think advocates are so free to take your cases and conduct a trial and prosecution? It's not like that. Therefore, they thought of bringing out an alternative for this. They made all the criminal offences to turn into civil cases such that departmental ROCs will take the cases. Sir, ROCs are free. Sir, ROCs are really free. Really free means I am not insulting the position, but I am telling that scarcity is not there when it comes to the registrar. Because the cadre is there, na? Registrar is there, additional registrar is there, deputy registrar is there, joint registrar is there, assistant registrar is there, officers and employees below them to conduct the adjudication and to collect the evidences. So many persons are there. Not so scarce when compared to the special courts. Government thought that let's kill this and bring a new life to the adjudication, and section 454 was that's why recently amended. And do you know e-trials are conducted, e-adjudication is conducted. Online adjudication concept. It's there in the syllabus. Yes, it's there in the syllabus. Read section 454 along with the rules properly. You will find the provision there. Online adjudication. Okay. The only thing is institute is not asking the questions onto that standard. Standard is very less when it comes to the question making. Okay. That itself is screwing up our mind. That's an entirely different story. They are not touching the real roots of the idea of the law. They are just asking on a overall basics and they are asking on overall intent of the section. What you can see on the eyes, they are asking only that. But the intent is not touched in the examinations. If that be the case, yes, you become a lawyer. So anyway, so the point is scarcity of special courts is there. Therefore, decriminalization concept was initiated by the government. Now, content post amendment. What they have done, let me explain. Previously, the central government may, for the purpose of providing a speedy trial of offences under this act, by notification establish or designate as many special courts as may be necessary. Nampally Sessions Court is there. Some company cases also will be taken there. Okay, like that. Sessions Court will be taken as special court. you will be having single judge, etc., etc. I am not going to discuss about that because no amendment came to the magistrate concept. Okay. Now let us go into the post amendment. One small line was added, which was now kept as a bold letters here. Except under 452. That means offences committed under section 452 of Companies Act will not be tried by special court. So then who will conduct the trial here? Listen. Sir, what is section 452? First we need to understand that. Okay. First we need to understand what is section 452. Okay. So what is 452? Punishment for wrongful withholding of the property. Punishment for wrongful withholding of the property. Means what? Director is there. Company assets he is using. Director is there. Company cash he is using. Wrongful withholding of a property. Okay? Is a punishment. Sir, wrongful withholding of property. Property means what? Anything. It can be mobile, it can be movable, it can be tangible, it can be intangible, it can be anything. Misuse of company's property lead to 452 offense. That's not there in the syllabus. That's why I am not going to emphasize anything beyond this. Okay. So, 452 talks of punishment for wrongful withholding of the properties. When you make a wrongful withholding of properties, what is the problem? Company assets will go down. Okay. Now, in that property, I will bifurcate into 2-3 parts. Cash was taken by the directors, which they cannot take, but they have done that. That cash is bonus we have to pay to employees, gratuity we need to pay to past employees, or pension we need to pay to retired employees. You have taken that cash. Therefore, in that case, if that property is belonging to bonus or welfare fund like pension or to the provident fund, whatever the case may be, that particular bonus related authorities will punish you. Therefore, recently amendment was made saying that depending on which property he has taken, court will be decided. Therefore, they said that except for 452, all company law related offences will be taken by special courts. Except 452. 452 depends. If it is a pension cash, pension authorities will punish you. Okay, not the special courts constituted under Companies Act. Therefore, this amendment came. But I don't think that this question will come in examination because 452 is not there in exam in order to ask this question. Maybe 452 might be added in the next attempt and then he will ask a question on that. I don't know how it will be tested, but still, as of now, my presumption is this should not be tested because students don't know what is 452 first in order to test this. Okay, next. Lesser penalties for one-person company and small company. Sir, previously, one-person company and small company, if it is there, they will also be punishable. Okay, but what is that? Half the penalty they will pay. If other companies are paying 1 lakh, half the penalty, 50,000 only these people has to pay. But now that was changed because newly producer company chapter was also added to the Companies Act, not to the syllabus. Okay, to the Companies Act it was added. Therefore, startup company concept also started. Therefore, they made amendment to this. Let us see. Previously 3 sections were taken. 92, non-filing of annual return. 117, non-filing of specific resolutions. 137, non-filing of financial statements. If anything is done, contravention is committed by normal company, they will be levied with X punishment as per that particular provision, 192 or 117 or 137. But if it is a one-person company or a small company, this should be 0.5x only but not x. That means half the penalty. This is a scenario. But what is the content after amendment? Let's have a look. Notwithstanding anything contained in the act, if the penalty is payable for non-compliance of any provisions of this act, fantastic. Not only 92, 117 and 137, any provision was contravened by one-person company or small company or startup company or a producer company or by any officer, any person, then such company or person, whatever the case may be, liable to a penalty. Amounts you need to read. I don't want to discuss that and waste my time. 5 lakh, 10 lakh, what I will get if I do that. So you need to read. But mainly, amendment criteria I will explain. Previously only 3 sections half penalty used to apply. But now, half concept was taken out. There is no concept of half. But liable to a penalty, okay, liable to a penalty. Here it is half of that sections. Now there is no half of 117, 192 and 137. Anyway it is half for all the provisions, which shall not be more than one half of the penalty specified in such provision, subjected to maximum of rupees 2 lakhs and officers 1 lakh. That's all. Just definitions were given for what is producer company, what is a startup company. Next, adjudication of penalties. This is what I said. Anyway, the amendment which came already have some amendments in the sections. 435 section talks of punishment. Forget to say, see here. 435 section, if you look into, anyway, this is the point where amended, but one important question. Central government may, for the purpose of providing speedy trial of offences under this act, so and so he said. Special court shall consist of single judge, okay? A single judge holding the office of a sessions judge or additional sessions judge in case of offences punishable. Punishable means what? Punishment related sections comes here, but penalizing sections don't come here, okay? Penalizing sections will come to 454. See here. The central government may, by order published in the official gazette, appoint as many officers not below the rank of ROC as adjudicating officers for adjudging the penalty under the provisions of this act. Penalty adjudging or will be done by adjudicating officers, but offense punishment will be levied by the special courts and judges. Okay. So what amendment was made here? Let's try to analyze. Okay, now let us go into the amendment. So point is, adjudication means what? Adjudication is two things: conducting inquiries and imposing penalty. These two words equals to adjudication. Conducting inquiry and imposing penalty equals to adjudication. Okay. Now what adjudication amendment was made? Previously what they used to tell is, directly pay 50,000, pay 20,000, like that ROC cannot tell. He need to first issue a notice. In that notice he has to tell how much penalty, for what you are levying a penalty, what is the purpose, okay, what wrong you have done. Like income tax authority sending the penalty notices to the clients, like that they will send a notice to you. On that basis you need to react, you need to give a reply to the show cause notice, like that it will be. Okay. Previously what they said, see here, adjudicating officer by an order impose penalty on company, officer in default, etc. by stating non-compliance or default. What non-compliance you have done, they will tell and then impose the penalty, okay, on a discussion basis. Not only that, levy the penalty, and they will also ask you to rectify the default. Okay, if I rectify the default, wrong has done as wrong done has made good. That means incorrect was made as correct. Then why you are levying a penalty again? On that government got an idea. If you can rectify within 30 days of show cause notice, it is deemed that 454 proceedings are concluded. Deemed conclusion. That means I am ROC. I send notice to you, okay, saying that you are subjected to penalty under some section, okay, and I said that you have to pay the penalty. Immediately after receiving the notice, you came to know that you committed wrong. Immediately you rectified that by filing the returns. Okay, 92 sectional annual return you didn't file, 137 financial statements you didn't file. Okay, in such case, if you can rectify the default by filing within 30 days, no penalty will be imposed. And remember carefully, that is only for 92 and 137, not for all other provisions. This rectification, no penalty, is applicable only for 92 and 137. Provided that in case of default relates to non-compliance of 92 or 137, such default has been rectified either prior to or within 30 days of issue of notice by adjudicating officer, no penalty shall be imposed in this regard, and all proceedings under this section in respect of such default shall be deemed to be concluded, but only for 92 and 137. Remaining penalty will be levied and rectification you have to make. Okay, that's the amendment. So the main amendment for this attempt, the content related amendment, schedule 5. So what so great amendment was made to schedule 5? Observe, easy only, but listen carefully. There are two kinds of directors: executive, Non-executive. Executive, managing director, whole-time director, manager, these people will come. Non-executive, all others will come. Non-executive, again I will divide into two parts. Independent directors and other directors. Due to increased responsibilities on independent directors, they are working very hard in a company. Independent of anything, they will work. Ordinary directors also, some ordinary directors like additional directors, etc. Sir, answer my question. Common sense only. No great analysis is required for this. A sheer common sense is required to answer my question. So see here. So great analysis is not required. Small common sense point only. When alternate director will be appointed, original director left India for minimum 3 months. Then an alternate director may be appointed, not shall be, may be appointed. Okay. Now listen to my point. When appointment is not mandatory, even then if you are appointing a person, what does it mean? There is a need with that person. Sir, for example, I went to USA, I am a director, I left to USA. Even after that, okay, even after my absence, if you are appointing a person, what do you mean by that? Really, if I left to USA, what you will do? Let him come. Why another person? Already there are 8-9 directors in company. They will look after. Even there is no need of mandate to appoint alternate director. If you are appointing an alternate director, means what does it mean? There is a requirement in company with him. Okay. Now, alternate director will come as an ordinary director. Let's say for example, he can also be independent director. Let's say for example, he is an ordinary director. When there is no need to appoint, you are appointing means definitely there is a pressing need with him every day. He does the work. Company resulted in losses. You are telling that alternate director no remuneration to you. Then he will not let others to join in your company as a director because of your misconduct. Like that only the people will feel, because our work will be related to money always. The work you do should get some compensation. Okay. You are working so much in a company. That should be compensated through monetary thing. So you should monetize everything. Okay, free things should not be there. Monetize everything. Okay, monetize. Everything should be linked to some sort of money. Then only some responsibility will come. Am I clear or not, everyone? So because of this, what you need to understand, prior to the amendment, independent directors are working so hard, but still company end up with losses. Ordinary directors work so hard, but company ended up with losses. Executive directors working so hard every day, day to day, whole-time director, company ended up with loss. If executive directors worked total day to day in company itself, company ended with losses means we will be coming like a relative sometimes. Then how come we can influence the profits of a company? We done our work, but still company ended up with losses. What we can do for that? But previously Act used to tell remuneration only to executive directors in case of losses and inadequate profits. Now the amendment was said that even to these pay remuneration. A student failed in CA exam here. Okay, his horoscope is very bad, he failed one attempt. Next attempt he passed, let us say like that. One attempt he failed. He did his hard work, but still he failed. Immediately everyone, whoever failed, you should not tell, you didn't read, you didn't study, you didn't open the book. Like that we can't make a comment. Everyone will put his own hard work. Someone luck favors, luck may not favor someone. Someone who left the topics only those may come in exam. Or many factors will influence a failure, not just one factor. Likewise, due to independent directors and ordinary directors, non-performance company ended up with losses. It is like that only previously prior to the amendment. Therefore, lawmakers said that don't do like that. Pay remuneration also to them even in case of inadequate profits or losses. Okay, see here. Amendment wise, everywhere in schedule 5 they added other director, that's all, that's the amendment. In any financial year during the currency of the tenure of a managerial person or other director, a company has no profits or its profits are inadequate, it may pay remuneration to managerial person being managing director, whole-time director and manager or other director, not exceeding the limits. Previously anyway, this limits 60, 84, 120. Now they added 12, 17, 24 and 24 plus so and so. That's all, amendment over. On this only amendments have come. Remaining all these things, everywhere you see, nothing is amended other than this. I kept entire schedule 5. Okay. What they have done, they clearly said that schedule 5, everywhere, whenever you find managerial person, they added other director, other director, other director. Simply in examination, you can get questions in this way. Okay. They will give a question that how ordinary directors will be paid in case of inadequate or losses. You need to write this. Okay, 12, 17, 24 and 24 plus so and so thing. Okay, that's the only thing you need to remember for the examinations as an amendment. Everyone understood the logic clearly? So this is the idea behind the amendment to managerial person. Before I close the session, this is the amendments on Companies Act. That's all, sir. Companies Act amendments are over with this. So these are the prime amendments that you need to prepare for the examination with regard to December 2021 CA Final Companies Act amendments. Next lecture will be on FCRA. The next will be on Insolvency Code. Okay. So complete in-depth analysis was made on Insolvency Code. Material is getting ready for the perfection sake. So once this is completed, I will upload FCRA in another 1 day. After that, we will get the IBC. Okay. And moreover, how schedule 5 questions of amendments will come in examination, chances are there we will have the examination question discussion. Okay, in the next YouTube lecture you will be getting that even before FCRA lecture. Okay, so therefore closing up the session here. So thank you very much, all the very best. Prepare all the amendments clearly. We will be coming up with the next lecture, FCRA amendments. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day.